Really looking
I think I'm
forward
gonna
to
go
that.
bard.
I think it's going to be great. I think though, if you go bard,
we can be a duo. We can do a duet.
I think
Hey, I'm a very good rhythm section.
Maybe you'd like to start meditating instead of sleeping.
okay. Don't make
I
this creepy
failed
now.
to see how that would help anything.
Okay.
Don't run
So,
your
you
duet
head up
partner
in the
off,
direction-
you fool.
You head off in the direction of the center of the town.
Okay.
You notice there are a lot of people moving about, vaguely more
A
quickly than a normal
barbarian.
walking pace.
How long does it take us to get there?
It doesn't take you too long. We're talking maybe like a 5-minute walk.
Okay, that's fine.
Not long, maybe a little bit less. It's only a small town, and you get there and you notice this big plaza, and there's a building in the center which is fairly finely decorated with actual like proper glass windows and everything. And there's a guard standing on each side of the door out front, and there are people selling stuff off carts in the marketplace. Good old fashioned apples, etc.
Bananas?
No bananas, I'm afraid.
That's terrible. Wasn't looking for bananas though. I am informed that banana is what we're looking for.
Ba-na-na.
Banana. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking for something completely
Banana.
different. Oh my lord. So many different.
Ba-na-na.
Oh wow.
Nah.
Okay.
None of those.
I love that. It's just like, no.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Well, first and foremost, how are the people in the town kind of acting? Because, I mean, apparently the town has been under nightly siege for 3 days.
Yeah, and there's been, what, 5 or 6 people killed?
Yeah. Make it in insight rolls. Yeah, insight rolls.
Okay. Insight would be... Wow, bloody wisdom.
Fantastic wisdom.
I'm just not wise. Hey!
I
So I
got
get 18
2.
plus 2 is a 20.
Wow. So everyone but Scarlet thinks that they're just carrying on business as usual. Nothing's wrong whatsoever. However, Scarlet, looking around, you manage to notice that there are a few empty stalls, a few stalls that seem to be almost understaffed. People who are walking around at a hurried pace. The place seems to be quieter than the size of the plaza would normally, allow. The fact that there are 2 guards at the opening to the mayor's office and the town hall is seen as odd by passers-by who glance and look at it curiously. You get the feeling that they're not used to armed guards, quite so readily armed, and maybe quite so many of them possibly on the streets. This seems to be people carrying on, but unsure of what's going on, don't know how really to deal with it, just trying to get their work done while they can during the day.
Okay, so I'll fill the rest of the group in this, that there's something just not quite right. People are acting different than they normally would, and I point out the fact that there's 2 guards right by the town hall. Should we still make our way there?
Yeah, we definitely walk up to the guards and ask if we can have admittance to speak with the mayor, perhaps, or an official.
Now, did Squishy come along with us? Is no one noticing there's a giant badger following us around?
People are looking around at your giant badger and looking at it very curiously, backing away. Hobbit Child walks forwards and goes... And the Squishy turns around and goes... "Arr!" And the kid runs away.
It's okay, Squishy. It's okay.
So it's pretty easy to assume then that Squishy's just going to kind of stick nearby.
Unless
For the
you
most
say
part.
otherwise, Squishy is going to be right next to you.
Waiting for eggs.
Plus, we know where
You
he
said
is
there were
now.
eggs. The guards spot you entering the plaza and spot the giant badger and spot you all carrying weapons, and they start eyeing each
I'm
other.
like, and the giant battle axe. I'm just
Yeah,
guessing.
and your weapons, which are quite readily visible due to a battle axe, which is actually as large as you are. And they start eyeing each other, and you can see their fingers moving on their sword hilts, holding halberds.
Are they barring our entrance, or was that as we were passing?
That was as you entering the plaza. So if you walk up to them, are you planning to go in?
I do intend to go in, yes. So walking
Okay, so
left
as you
towards them.
walk...
I walk towards
the door with
them,
the
though,
intention
to
of going
address
in.
them rather than just walk past them.
Okay, so if you stop in front of them to address them, they... Yeah, okay.
Um,
They look at you curiously
Before they
down at
start to
your
look too nervous,
yeah.
badger
can
companion.
address.
We're hoping to see the mayor. We hear that you have some problems around these parts.
Here you've got an undead problem.
I look to Wolfslayer and kind of like roll my eyes and look back. I hear you've got some problems that the mayor might like us to discuss outside of, away from prying ears. Nightly problems.
Well,
It's
hey,
not a secret.
That's true. But where did you come from with all those weapons, and why have you got a giant badger with you?
We're problem
Oh, that's
fixers, and this is
Why
how we
don't
fix
you-
problems.
It's just Squishy.
His name
That's
is
who he
Squishy.
is.
Squishy.
Yes. Don't.
Yeah, he's very
don't-
friendly.
You named a giant badger Squishy.
It
Yes.
wasn't my choice.
What's his name?
I don't.
Oh. All right.
What are you rolling for?
Convincing him that he should have a giant badger too.
You didn't say anything.
Yet?
So basically, you're trying to convey this with body language. You're like standing there, like,
No, I was going to say, wouldn't you have a giant badger if you
you can
could?
only roll after you
Yeah.
say things. So instead, you've tried to convey this with body language.
I'm
posing
just
next to the
picturing
badger.
Will Slayer like a QVC presenter, like, I'm sure we have a giant badger.
Wow.
And he's looking over at Wolfslayer like, yeah. If you can go in now and just leave the weapons at the door, then leave the badger outside if you wouldn't mind.
I look through the rest of the group and I'm like, I'm not entirely.
And as you look at Squishy, you notice that Squishy is doing what animals do after they've had a lot of food.
Sleeping. They sleep after they've had a lot of food.
Ah,
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind leaving the badger outside.
sure, but you should clean that up then.
At this point, I seem like I was about to object to the whole weapon thing, and right now I'm like, fine, okay, I'm just gonna get inside and away from this, and I hand over my daggers and my bow,
All weapons.
and I try to keep my daggers in my boots. Try to just kind of, as I'm handing over the knife, just kind of squirrel them away.
Okay, what is your dex modifier?
3.
And you've, the proficiency in stealth you do, don't you?
Yeah, and sleight of hand.
And sleight of hand. So, yeah, I'll call it sleight of hand. I'll take it as a passive sleight of hand, so it'll be 3 plus your double proficiency in sleight of hand, don't you have?
No, I've got double proficiency in stealth, so sleight of hand is
Okay.
my whole proficiency is 5.
Alright, so I'll count it as a passive, which
Okay.
is for you 15. You'll also need to give us the daggers as well, I'm afraid.
Ah, really? I mean, these were gifts.
Aye,
They
and you
wouldn't
can
do
give
any
them me,
damage
and
to
then I'll
anyone.
give them back to you when you leave.
Fine, okay. You can have my daggers as well.
I leave my axe and the 3 javelins.
Leaving a
Okay.
man undefended.
And as you start handing over axe, javelin, the guy's like, a bit intimidated.
Yeah, I hand all my stuff over, but I'm begrudgingly doing it.
Okay.
No, Scarlet, can you talk to Squishy when I haven't, used my spell to talk to him?
I need to use speak with animals, I think, because I can only communicate with small beasts, and Squishy is clearly not small.
As big as she is.
Okay, so if he's to stay outside, one of us will need to tell him that. Otherwise, well, I mean, we could just let him go wherever he wants. We know where he is now. Assuming Melphis can be trusted to tell us the truth. Will you tell us the truth, Melphis?
Pull out a couple eggs and I, kind of eye up with Squishy. I put the eggs.
I'm loving the idea you're using hand commands to just
Like-
stay. Get squishy, get squishy.
and then I give him the eggs. That's it. And then
Okay, so you haven't taught him to stay yet, so normally I would say this would be a disadvantage. However, you have eggs, so that would make it at egg-vantage. So
Oh,
we'll just take it
really?
Excellent.
Really?
as a straight animal handling roll.
And excellent as well.
Oh.
Oh my
I'm going
goodness.
to fail at this miserably if somebody wants to assist.
No one assisted in the role play, so
Well, there we are.
we'll make it just a
Good
straight
luck,
roll
Wolf
for you.
Slayer.
Come on, you can do it.
Natural 20. Come on.
8.
Squishy looks at the eggs, looks at the floor,
I-
and just goes.
As far as I'm concerned, I
Stands
did I did my job. I am neither druid nor ranger. Let's go talk to the darn mayor.
Okay.
Now, when we were putting our weapons down, did they actually ask for my walking stick? Because it's just a staff. It's just it's not a weapon.
In a world of magic.
It's wooden.
They've
Wooden
all
staff.
seen Lord of the Rings.
I told you to take the
I'm,
wizard's
I'm
staff.
afraid we'll actually need the shield and the staff too, if you don't mind. And that applies to your shield too, Miss Bird Lady.
Wolf Slayer.
Wolf Slayer, yes. If we could have your shield as well. I'm sorry, but it's made of metal and it's heavy and it's kind of a weapon, really.
Under my breath. She is a weapon.
I'm giving him that look.
If it makes you feel any better, the mayor isn't armed.
Okay, well, I'm heading in now.
Harm
Are they clear to
comes
let those of
to
us who
my
are...
shield. A single scratch that wasn't
dear.
there before. You'll have more than undead on your hands.
Make an intimidation check.
Okay. This is interesting. You look
all
so
this I've
cool
rolled,
until you roll
too.
that dice.
He takes the shield off you as you give it to him and goes, and if there's a single scratch on the mayor, you'll have the entire city watch to deal with. And he carefully puts it
Give him a
down.
confused look and say, obviously. Go inside.
Do you give him the staff?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
problem.
Aramil is a law-abiding citizen.
I'm blaming you,
I don't
Aramil.
really care. I don't really care. I could turn into a direwolf and rip his face off. So
You would have let the shield go if you hadn't asked for the
I know. I'm
staff.
thinking this in my mind. I'm thinking to myself, this staff means nothing. I could turn into a direwolf and kill anyone. So, but I don't say that because that'd be crazy.
I'm glad you stipulated that.
I'm
And
not
they
crazy.
stand there just now looking at the giant badger who's happily chowing down some eggs as you walk in.
Okay.
As you
Look
walk
after
in, you walk
Squishy.
into...
Look after Squishy.
Yeah, you want us to look
Was that-
after the giant badger that's larger than me.
Was that an intimidation right there that she just did? It sounded very intimidating.
She didn't threaten.
All right, guys, come on.
Okay. So you walk
I
into
want
the-
to talk to the mayor, please. I
walk
want to
into the
get
lobby.
paid.
It's a high building. None of you are proms of your heads. There's a little bit of a chandelier with some candles on it that aren't lit currently. And there is a high lectern desk. Behind it, there is a human. The quill who is writing. And he hasn't paid any attention to you.
Okay, looking to the others at Jash and Aramil. Do you want to go and talk? Because, horns, tail. First impressions, not my thing.
irises. Yeah,
Is
lack
this
of
like a
irises.
single room situation? Is this guy like the door greeter or the
He's-
mayor?
It's not the mayor. He's dressed in sort of a standard
Imagine
sort
he'd
of
be a clerk.
robe. Yeah, he's effectively the clerk, the secretary.
That is, excuse me. We're here to see the mayor.
1 second, sir. I need to finish this.
That was a second.
Okay.
Well
It
played.
is metaphorical,
Well
my
played.
dear. Just give me a minute.
While this
that
is going on,
my
can I see anything important about the room?
There is a door off to the left side, the right side from where you're looking, which is slightly padded.
Right.
There is a set of stairs behind you on the left, which seem to go up to a second floor.
Okay. There's nothing else about the possibly not nailed down valuables.
Not particularly, I'm sorry.
What a
On his desk, there's some stuff, but it's kind of high.
I'm tall. Oh, he's a human, so it's probably tall for him as well.
Yeah.
I hate this town.
And he puts the quill back in the ink pot and goes, "Okay, how can I help you?"
Well, we killed some undead things last night, and we're here to try to, kill the rest of them. There's something profoundly wrong with the balanced nature in this area. We need to fix it.
And how do you propose to do that? You killed some of them, you say?
Yes.
We propose to
Oh.
kill more.
For a reward. I mean,
Reward's
it's
not
expensive.
Who sent
We
you?
need to know. Well, we just.
Are you
kind
with
been
one of the
following
trading
him.
guilds? Will you
Just
tell
been
them we're not
following-
interested? We're fine by ourselves. We don't need any help.
We're most certainly not with one of the trading guilds. Do we look like we've come from a trading guild? I mean, take a close look. Do we actually look like
You-
we've come from a trading guild?
Make a fair point, and he then suddenly looks out the door to see a badger sniffing the armor of one of the guards. Is that with you,
That's squishy.
Grishy?
That's just squishy.
I would love
I
if
say.
Squishy came running in right now at the call of the game.
Deadpan. Just no further explanation. That's just squishy.
Just stays there sniffing the armor, licks it. Okay, well, you killed something, you say. Where did you kill them last night?
Right at the edge of town as we came in. We were attacked by some sort of undead things. I couldn't really tell what they were.
Being used to cities, I've got a fairly good idea of like the idea of cities and just generally remember the route. So I'll just describe verbally where we killed him in relation to where we are right now.
Describe. You point in the direction of the road that you came up, which is a fairly straight road, and you just say, down that road.
Okay. Fair enough. There we are. I'm so great with cities. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, how many were there?
3.
We encountered 3. Yeah.
And you killed them all?
Yeah.
Killed
Oh,
2.
3?
One went into the air and then fell down on its face. And she cut it in half.
No, it
No,
fell on
no.
my axe.
Yes.
Yeah.
One went up in the air and fell down?
On her axe.
On her axe.
Yeah.
It jumped really high.
We killed 3.
Yeah.
3 ghouls died by axe.
We
Yes.
think they were
All
ghouls.
of
It
you
was
make
some sort of
deception
undead thing.
checks.
Deception?
Deception.
That's the thing?
Well, that's actually one I'm fairly good with.
Oh. It's the first time we've actually had to use that. Is this a group roll?
I'm good, but I've got
Yeah.
terrible luck with dice. Damn it.
Yeah.
I have a 15.
I can't believe my luck with dice.
Okay, well, I believe you certainly killed them, but what about the third one? I think you're taking credit for someone else's kill.
I assure
it's
you,
not on
it
our axe.
died as a result of being
Does it
split in
matter?
twain by her axe.
You raise a good point. It doesn't
We're
matter
here
right
to
now.
kill the rest of them.
Very well. Let me just see if the mayor is busy, and he will discuss some sort of bounty. Wait one second. And he gets down from the lectern, opens the padded door, walks in, closes it behind himself.
Aramil, she did say that magic was not really meant to be happening here, and I know she's nothing much to do with you, but I would appreciate it if you don't try to get Voshka in trouble.
I did try to get her in trouble.
You just spoke without thinking about what you were saying, as usual.
She's not part of our group.
It's part of my
I only
group.
care about you guys. And squishy.
The door opens.
Very
Yes.
disappointed in you.
I was
Well,
too. That one time.
Hopefully, we won't be disappointed in you for this contract. I believe the mayor is willing to see you now. If you'd like to go in.
Okay.
Really don't like this guy.
How
Okay,
do you
let's go.
Walking in. Yeah.
You walk in through the padded door, and you walk into another room. This room is fairly large. It's very high up. It's got a couple of chandeliers. It's got a long table, and at the end of it, there is another desk as well. And standing behind that desk, ruffling through some papers, is a hobbit. He's got slightly graying hair, long sideburns, sort of grown almost into whiskers by the length of them. And he's got a chain around his neck with some sort of medallion or symbol on the end of it, and sort of fur trimming to this very fancy coat suit ensemble he's got going on. Oh, I hear you're willing to help us out. Is that correct?
Well, for gold, yeah.
If there's money in it, we're certainly willing to aid in ridding your town of this undead scourge you seem afflicted with.
Well, you have to understand that that is quite a task. There are many of them, and they do seem to be coming from out of town. If you were to take on this contract, you would be required to go and hunt down where they're coming from and make sure that they're all gone and they do not come back.
We aren't in the business of leaving jobs undone. Or half done. Or...
So you know where they come from?
Oh, no, I have no idea where they come from. They vaguely seem to be coming from the north. Possibly, northeast. That's the direction that most people have contact with them. The southern side of the city isn't quite as well hit by this.
What direction did we come from?
You came from the northwest.
Thank you.
How long has the city been troubled with this? We hear this
3
around
days.
3 days.
Now, 3 days ago, we found someone dead at the edge of town, and the last 2 days it's got a lot worse.
It's getting worse each night.
Yes. Last night we had a curfew in effect, so there weren't many deaths. I think there were only one person reported so far, although we are looking into another one. We did initially think that there was another death linked to this on the first night, but it turned out that it was some sort of magical weaponry, although I am informed that it was not a magical weapon of any sort.
What?
One of our hobbits here, who is the wife of the butcher who has since passed. She murdered her husband, and we initially thought, because of the circumstances and the weirdness, that there was some magic involved, and we wondered if that was maybe connected. But it turns out that apparently there was no magic involved, and I have since been informed this by a quite well-paid mage who we got to come in last night and investigate.
At this point, I simply nod and clearly just move on back to the undead. Regarding these undead, is there perhaps a bounty per head we bring back, or how would you intend to pay us?
If you were to bring back per head, I think we could pay you an additional 1 gold per head and then pay you a lump sum, provided you kept it fairly quiet and you eliminated the source. I mean, any explanation of why they're attacking us would be grateful as well.
Do you
was
happen
that?
to have any kind of information?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
If we would pay 1 gold per head, and then if you could sort it out quietly, and if you could find out and eliminate the source from where they're coming, we would pay an additional flat fee on top of that.
Of?
Well, how about 30 gold? Does that sound acceptable? I've got to pay you enough that I can, make it worth your while, but unfortunately I would have to keep this off the books. You see that we are very keen to keep this, under wraps, as you may have already gathered. We do not really want to get people involved and thus tarnish the name of our great trading town.
I'm sure your great trading town has significantly valuable goods passing through it, which may or may not be as visible on the books as gold.
And
30 gold is a little bit small.
discretion, not my strong suit. I think I would have to try extra hard for that. That might be worth something to you. And I would like to make a persuasion roll.
You may both make persuasion rolls.
Okay.
Okay, that's a
17.
15 and 17. Very well. Well, this is true, and I've got you here. I can't really rely on anyone else. Okay, 1 gold per head you bring back. 30 gold contingent upon you finding the location and you managing to remove the infestation and prevent them returning. And I will also throw in, let me have a look here. And he rifles through some papers. He says, there is a warehouse that does not seem to be paying much tax, and I've suspected for quite some time that it has some valuable goods inside, but I have not been able to investigate. No one seems to have accessed it in a long time. If I were to give you the key to that warehouse, and you would take some of the stuff that was inside, not too much that it would be particularly noticeable, but if you were to take a small amount of stuff from the warehouse of your choosing, would that be acceptable?
You're encouraging us to steal.
No, not stealing per se. Taking the tax that would otherwise be due on those items is the best way of putting it, yes.
I find this contract agreeable. What about you, my companions? Looking around.
I'm
What-
willing to go for it.
That was fine.
You can assure us that that would be perfectly legal, given that you are the mayor and are telling us.
Oh, yes. I'm sure everything will be above board. Just make sure you don't spread it too widely. Otherwise, people will obviously want to be able to, perform these duties for me on a regular basis. You can make an insight roll, Wolfsire.
Ooh.
I'm not very good at that. Just an 11.
You're not certain if he's telling the truth, but he maybe seems earnest.
Well, being that I don't trust anyone because of my shameful childhood with my lack of a father, my bastardry, I'd like to always inspect people. So can I do an inspection as well?
Sure.
I'm a little better than it usually than she is. It's an insight still, right?
Yeah, insight.
It's just a general, like, is this guy trustworthy type thing.
Just a little bit.
A
little bit
Very
better.
interested to get the current situation resolved. He is definitely overly stressed right now, but he is definitely bullshitting about the allowed to take from that warehouse. But given that he is the mayor, has the spare keys, and he definitely has some sort of gripe with the fact that they haven't been paying as much tax as he suspects they should be, he finds it fortuitous to be able to get one back by paying you from them.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just. So how do I know this though? Like, I can just tell this about him.
You can tell from his body language the way he's acting. Like, you can tell he's stressed. You can also tell the way he says, "Oh, they haven't been paying enough tax." The way the inflection you get off that is, he sort of has something against them.
Okay. I don't really see any. Yeah. Okay. I don't see any issue with it. So I know that, and I just kind of. It's fine. Seems fine.
At that point, seeing that Aramil was pondering something and then seems to have decided that it's fine, and he's fine, quote unquote. Is there anyone we could talk to? Anyone who might know anything more about these attacks before we head off?
Well, you could ask the centaurs, I guess.
And they would be where?
Say, not to interrupt the conversation, but like, just out of curiosity, Mayor, do you happen to have any pull with the blacksmiths? Could we perchance have a favor upon completion of this?
I don't really, don't really have influence with the blacksmiths here. I mean, most of the trade we do is directly through the warehouses, and that's what the city effectively owns and leases out. The blacksmiths are independent contractors. You will have to really talk with them themselves. Although, I'm sure that the pay we give you and that anything you find from the appropriation for the taxes will, of course, be able to be going forwards to, allowing you to pay them.
Is there any way you could do like a town decree, like something where you could, issue a command that the blacksmiths would have to follow?
Well, we're all about free trade here, and I very much doubt that they would like us to start influencing in their affairs too often. Sure, you can understand. And as you were speaking about the centaurs, we have some centaurs who are camped out or based, I don't know what centaurs do, in the forest to the north. And in addition to providing them with, any food or water they need, although they don't need or come by for much. Normally it's mostly leather or weapons or whatever that they want worked. In addition, for taking care of them and giving them whatever they want when they come past and require it, they protect us from any threats that come through the forest from the north, which is why we haven't really had to have much of a town watch.
They're not doing a very good job then, are they?
Well, in all honesty, we haven't heard from them for at least a month.
And how often would they usually come by?
Maybe once a month, maybe once every 2.
All right.
It's not particularly usual for them not to have come by recently, but it is getting on.
Okay, well, looking around the rest of the group, I kind of shrug and roll my head towards the door.
I'm still caught up on this, issue. So but the town guards, right? You've got these guards outside. Where did they get their armor? That was certainly something that you
pay for it in bulk from some of the blacksmiths up in Rivertown. The blacksmiths around here don't generally do armor, and we tend to get it from the same people that the Rivertown Town Watch do.
You see, it's just that you see that. Look over there. We get that. You see Squishy. We call him Squishy
because of the way you came in through many doors.
We've got this pet, and his name is Squishy, and he's Squishy. We want to protect him. So I was just wondering if perhaps we could contract through the same people who made the armor for your guards to create some modified armor.
Well, I'm sure you can find the blacksmith. I can definitely recommend one in the town or in Rivertown if you want.
And could you put in a good word?
Sure, I will put in a good word for you if you want me to.
Good enough.
I will write a strongly worded letter of appreciation if you manage to do this for us.
It's a deal.
Before we leave, I hear there have been some deaths as a result of these attacks.
Yes.
Would you be able to provide us with information on those who've died and possibly any family they have? They may have something of note to tell us.
Sure. There was a farmer's boy died on the first night, clawed open and eaten. On the second night, I believe it was a couple who were out at night, going for a moonlit walk or some kind. And then there was also someone else who died. Let me have a look at my records. I believe it was a stable boy. And last night, I believe the one person we know who died is actually a midwife.
Do you happen to have the name of that midwife?
Sure. It is Lenny Moonbody.
What about this butcher's wife who murdered her husband? Where's she?
Oh, Maya Haley. I can give you her address if you want.
She's not in prison.
Well, no, she's currently under house arrest. We don't actually have a prison here.
Fair enough.
Normally we'd ask for the City Watch from Rivertown to come and take her, but the problem is we don't really want to get them involved right now, so currently she's just under house arrest. The reason that she's not in prison, just making her makeshift cell, is because there are extenuating circumstances to the murder of her husband. It has come to light that perhaps he was not the nicest of characters.
Malphas doesn't seem particularly interested in the butcher's wife, but he seems to be taking note of, at least a mental note of, the people who've been killed by the undead. And once the discussion with Wolf Slayer is over, he asks, would it be possible for us to have directions to the families of these people?
Oh, sure. I can handle that, provided you can be trusted to be,
We'll be discreet.
discreet about your. Yes. Okay, very well. And as to answer your interest in the butcher's wife's murder of her husband, we still don't know really what happened. He pulls open a drawer and plops something metal and wood on the desk and says, this was involved, and I suspected it was some sort of wand, and the City Watch thought the same, though apparently there was nothing magical about it.
Cripe's sake, I can't get rid of these things.
Looks like this.
That's a cursed item. We've seen those before.
Oh. He grabs his handkerchief out of his pocket. Puts it back
Best
on the
destroy
desk.
those.
I'm remembering our experiences from last time, so I'm just taking a cautious step back.
Those are best destroyed if you know what you're getting into.
Though you said you had a powerful wizard check the item, and they said it was inert.
Yes.
Just nods of that.
Oh,
Kind of a
yes.
calculating look.
Well, she checked it and she said, there wasn't any sort of enchantment on it, and it's definitely not a wand. Maybe some sort of alchemical powder or something involved in it, but nothing mainly magical about it.
Well, perhaps when we have looked into the undead problem, we might be able to investigate whatever might have happened with the butcher's wife, and especially the cursed item. If it is cursed, perhaps we could dispose of it for you.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure we can get the town watch to dispose of it. Though if you want to investigate it and you find anything out, I would be willing to pay you for, sorting out this case if you figure out what the hell went on there. It's certainly, sure that she killed her husband, so it's a pretty open and shut case in that regard.
Okay. Well, I think
Do you have a
we've got-
graveyard?
Yes, I believe there's several graveyards. The biggest one would be the one that's actually attached to the Church of Athos.
Any chance that someone's checked the graves recently? Has the graveyard been disturbed at all?
Yes, we checked them on the second day. There is no sign of it being disturbed.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I think we have all that we need for now. We can begin our investigation. What say the rest of you? Do you have anything else to ask?
I don't have any questions. I'm ready.
Then, if there's nothing else to ask, perhaps we should get back to Squishy before anything should happen.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, once you've done your job, I will be willing to pay you quite a decent amount of money. Do you need anything up front to help you with your investigation?
Badger armor.
Badger.
Yeah, it's squishy. I mentioned him a minute ago. That would be really useful. Sorry, you asked a question. I answered honestly.
So you don't need anything else, and he starts
No.
looking at the rest of the group.
The logistics of this don't quite... It doesn't make sense to bring back the entire head. How about a hand or something?
Oh, well, I believe normally the process for the City Watch I don't handle it myself, is that they can recognize from the head, but with these, I guess you could bring back
As long as it's all...
the right hand or something, I guess that they would find that acceptable? Or tongue?
Just not looking forward to carrying countless
Tongues are portable.
rotting
Do that.
heads with me.
Okay, well, provided you bring back one part, and it's the same part in every body, so that you obviously aren't trying to scam us by bringing back multiple parts from the same body, I'm sure that would be acceptable. And not that you would try to scam us, of course.
Of course.
Malphus is gonna take that undead hands and turn their thumbs and fingers around and I don't know what you're talking about. That's totally the right hand.
Okay.
Right.
It might
so-
look like a foot. It was just he had really long hands. Okay. Well, at this point, I'm ready to leave.
Okay. Well, busy days. I'm sure you're busy when you get started. If you could, of course, solve this sooner rather than later, that'd be much appreciated.
Of course, though not to be impolite, it may... Discretion tends to require deliberation and less rushing forward.
Well, if I were to give you some of the reward up front, would you be able to be slightly more circumspect and quicker about it?
I'm sure if we were able to purchase better arms and armor, it would enable us to...
Oh, like I said, we don't have any real links to the traders around here. We
Well, that's
try to
fine,
make
but
it as free as possible.
gold speaks loud enough to traders.
Well, if you want, I can give you either half the gold up front, or I can let you have the key to that warehouse.
I'm looking to the others for their opinion at this point.
Key is probably good. We can hit that up before we head out
Yeah, I'm inclined for key.
Very well, the key
for a
will-
variety of reasons.
I will let the clerk know to give you the key. And he walks over to a bell, pulls it. Clerk walks in and goes, give them the key to warehouse 13, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, sir. Well, I'll have it at the desk for them. Yes, very well. He walks out.
Out of character, I have a very bad feeling about this. Oh, you get.
So I'll turn to
No
the group and
paladins here.
I'll explain like my perception from earlier. This guy's bullshitting us completely.
Is he saying that once
We're
we walked
basically-
out first, yeah?
No, he was
Yeah.
bullshitting about the fact that he was allowed to legally. It's all above
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So we're out of earshot. I'm just explaining to the group. Yeah, it's we're stealing, but it's okay.
You're
'cause
not
we're
out of
really
earshot right now.
harming.
You're still in his room. If you want to go outside and be out of earshot, you'd have to leave the room.
Okay, I'm not talking then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can wait
Let's
Yeah.
go.
after we actually.
At this
Well,
point.
the clerk has the key for you, and come back as soon as you've sorted this mess out. And
Okay.
don't bring the heads or whatever you choose to me. Just leave them with a guard outside. I will take the guard's word.
Very well. At this point, I just start walking back through to where the clerk should be.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm heading out.
You'll walk out. The clerk's out front looking at you, giving you a very, sort of look. And he hands you an envelope.
Okay.
That is a key.
Right, so I look inside the envelope and I see that there's a key inside. Okay.
And the key has number 13 engraved on it.
Dun dun.
Dun, dun.
Warehouse 13. Dun dun.
With a nod.
Great. Can I get my weapons back?
Yeah, we
And my
head out
shield?
back to the guards to get our weapons.
The guards hand you your weapons and sort of glance off and sort of gesture their heads towards a store nearby where one of the market's people is beating Squishy away with sort of a shoe as he's sort of got a fish in his mouth.
I'm not paying for what he eats out of other people's stores. I'm just saying this now.
Okay, I'm just gonna walk up there and ask him straight. Why are you beating Squishy?
Oi, he stole me bleeding fish! Caught that this morning, it's fresh!
That's what you're saying. All I'm saying is, you're
Is
beating
this your
Squishy.
badger? You saying you own this bloody thing?
Yes. Problem?
That fish is expensive. It's top quality fish. Caught this morning out the river. Are you going to pay for that?
Well, you're beating Squishy. Are you going to pay for that?
Well, he's a wild animal. Wild animals that steal normally get put down if you're going to pay for the fish, otherwise I'll take it up with the town watch.
Okay, how much for the fish?
2 silvers for the fish. And you're getting off lucky.
You're the one that's getting off lucky here when you're beating my badger and saying he should be put down.
What sort of is this a shop? You said.
It's a
A
stall.
stall.
Okay. Do they have anything like at a glance? What type of store is it?
It's fish. There's
It
fish.
just sells
There's other
fish.
fish, and there's some other types of fish.
Okay, great. I'll buy some fish to go with her fish, or she should buy some fish
Yes,
for the badger who clearly likes fish, so that we don't have to break gold.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy looks at you and goes, "Yeah, well, if you want to buy more fish, that's fine." And he hands you 4 fish. He goes, "That'll be a gold for the 4 fish and for the fish that your badger's already eating."
Fine. Here you go.
Five fish total is not a bad. Right. Are you marking that off?
Yep.
What type of fish are these? Are these like huge
Right.
tuna or trout? Or
It's sort of, smallish trout size, not particularly, not small trout, but smallish.
Okay.
Looking like yay big.
All right. I was just wondering, if there were any herring and other uses for herring in the forest. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Right. While they're all
You're a
over by the
horrible
stall,
person, Malthus.
whilst they're all over by the stall, I'll ask the guards for directions to Warehouse 13.
Warehouse 13. That one's not often gone to. It's a small shed on the banks of the river. If you go any points, you go that way, take a left, take a right, and then just walk towards the river. You'll find it there.
Okay. What's Aramil doing?
Just been watching, laughing a little bit at Squishy.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to distance myself a bit from managing this pet because I know he's a voracious eater. I've been a giant badger. I can feel the hunger.
I've been a giant badger, and I remember it well.
I went through a giant badger phase.
Yep.
Right, Aramel, you said you appeared that you were going to say something when we were back in there, and then thought better of it.
Right. So you guys know we're stealing, right?
All I heard was we were collecting tax.
Yeah, that's not really what's going on. So, I mean, you could use that as justification as you want. I don't have any issue with it. I just thought I'd mention it. That guy, we don't have the right to pillage this.
Well, where
Storage
I come
facility.
from, the nobility or the officials tend to make the
I don't-
laws. And if
yeah,
they say
I
something
don't-
is legal, then it is.
I don't know who it is that we're taking from, and it's going to help us. So I have no issue with it.
No.
I just
You raise a
I-
valid point,
It's
though.
important to know the truth. That's all.
I mean, we wouldn't want to steal off someone like Dvoshka. She has a wicked temper.
Yeah. Just be aware that, if we do find out who it is, then we have a new enemy.
You look like you want to say something, Wolf Slayer. Gonna tell us we shouldn't?
Nope.
Oh. That's refreshing. I approve. So we'll be off then.
Yep.
I'm so used to people telling me I can't take things. I like you guys.